Okay. All right, can everyone see that?
So we can see your whole PowerPoint. So we see like the slides on the left as well as the thing in the middle.
Yeah. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking about Git Rebase. I am not an expert, so don't assume I am. I'm pretty new at this, but I did have to do it a couple times. And the past week, it was actually kicking my butt. And last night, I stayed up and recorded something, and I think I got it to work properly. So I will show you a little presentation later. But Git Rebase is just an alternative to merge. So they basically do the same thing, just in a little different way. All right, so Git merge, everybody does. It's kind of the easiest way to merge your commits. And there's pros, obviously. It's non-destructive, which means it keeps all your commits and your branches remain the same. So everything is intact exactly as you did it. The cons are that it's messy commit history. And that gets really messy whenever you have a lot of people collaborating and your master gets changed often. So here I have a little snippet that shows kind of what your commits would look like whenever you merge. It definitely looks like a branch. So then if we move to Git Rebase, we see that it looks different. It's kind of a linear commit history instead of a lot of branches. So this makes for clean commits, and especially whenever you're doing code reviews, it makes it easier to follow the commits and how you coded everything instead of having a bunch of merges in there. The negative side is that it is destructive. It rewrites history. So you lose that traceability on your commits. So it's not chronological. It kind of, like I said, it rewrites history. So it makes it difficult if you want a chronological order to your commits. All right. So here I'll start showing you. This is my chess app that I started. I did a bunch of commits, and then I pushed it all up, and it passed code ship. That's what all checks have passed, but it is it conflicts with the master. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the whole rebase process here. So I recorded it, like I said, early this morning, because I did not want to do it live, just because I have messed up on it. All right, so you start out, and I always do git status. I guess I learned that from Ken. That's just the smart thing to do. And you want to make sure that you're on your master branch. And then, kind of messed up there. I was going to check out, but I don't want to do that yet. Okay, so then I want to pull down from the master, but I want to tell it, sorry. So I want to tell it that it's going to be a rebase. So you do git pull -- rebase upstream master. Okay, and that pulls it down for you. And then after that, you can go ahead and check out onto your feature branch, which for me was my valid move for my pawn. So git checkout, valid move pawn. All right. Okay, now that I'm on my feature branch, let's see, I want to do a Git Rebase master. And what that does is it takes my feature branch and it plops it right on top of the master. So it makes that linear commit history. Okay, when you do that, you are going to get a bunch of nonsense, what looks like nonsense. But if you look at it, it's telling you that there's some conflicts in there. So just like with a merge, you're going to have conflicts. And it's going to tell you like it has trailing white space and things that it is going to warn you about. So then you have to go in and just like normal, you want to clean out the conflicts. So I went ahead and I did that. I'm just going to kind of fast forward through that. Okay, and then once you get everything cleaned out, you're going to want to add that file just like you would, like you were going to do a normal commit. So git add, and the test controllers games controller test.rb file. Okay. All right, and that's showing that the app models pawn was modified. So I added that, git add app models pawn.rb, and then I git status again, and it shows that everything's there. So then you do a git rebase -- continue, which up earlier they give you options, and it says once you fix all your conflicts that you want to do git rebase -- continue. All right, so now it showed me that there's another conflict in the app models piece.rb. So I went there and I fixed that. And okay. All right, so I did my fixing of the conflicts, and then you do git add again, because since you fixed that file, you need to add it. So git add app /model /piece.rb. All right, git status again, or I did not do git status, but I should have done git status. So then I did git rebase continue. All right, and it is telling me here that I have a conflict that still needs resolved. So honestly, I didn't know what was going on. So if anyone here knows what happened there, you can let me know at the end of the video. But I just did Git Rebase Skip because I checked all my files and everything looked the way it was supposed to. So I did Git Rebase Skip. All right. Okay, and once I did that, I'll get it going here, sorry. There, okay. Okay, now there's my commits, okay? So it says fixed bug in code Stephen pointed out and added more tests for capturing as suggested by Stephen. So those are my new commits. All right, and then once you do that, like I said, I went back in and made sure that everything was kosher, because once you push it up there, there's no turning back. So I went in and checked all my files and everything looked good. So let's get it to the place where it should be here. All right, and excuse me. I do a rake before I push it up just to make sure that all my tests are passing, because that's the last thing you want to do is push up failing tests. So there is my rake. Give it a second here. Okay, now comes the dangerous part. If you're in office hours last night, Ken said never do this, but I am doing it. So it is git push, and mine is upstream, and to my branch valid move pawn, and I forced it. So -F or -- force, and then you push that up. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put in my password and stuff. Okay, and there it shows that's your rebase, and it shows that it's a forced update. So that went good. Now we're going to go. Okay. So now we're going to go to my GitHub and look at what's going on. Okay, the checks are pending, but the branch is now up to date. So let me rewind just a little bit here and show you how the, oh no, I'm going to fast forward, sorry. Once the check goes through with code ship, then I'll refresh and show you what my new commits look like. Okay, so there are my new commits right there. So if you saw in the beginning, there were like 9 commits sitting in my GitHub repo, and now I'm down to 3. So it makes it real nice. And like I said, a clean linear progression of all your commits. So let me go back here. All right, some helpful resources that I used. Thanks to Faisal, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I had kind of gotten off track, and I looked through so many resources, and rebasing is one of those things where a lot of people do it differently, and it's not necessarily correct. I'm hoping I did it correct, but so I watched this video, and it kind of got me back on track, and I knocked it out like you saw in less than 10 minutes. So there's no problem. That was recording and everything. So this is Ashley Grant's YouTube video. And then another really good resource just explaining how everything works, not just rebasing, but a lot of technical things, is Atlassian.com. So that's their link for the merge and rebasing. All right. So some must-knows whenever you are doing rebasing. You need to learn Git Rebase Interactive. That is for your local commits, and it allows you to kind of pick and choose how you want to write your commits. So you can squash commits into one, if they're like 3 little tiny commits that you just made real tiny changes to, you can squash that all down into one. And like I said, pick and choose what you want. Some proper etiquette is never rebase a branch that is shared. So if you collaborate with someone and you're both using the same branch, do not rebase because it'll work on your side. Your commits will be wonderful, but it will mess their branch up. One of the biggest things I found useful was Git Rebase -- abort. This will get you out of trouble if you find yourself drowning in uncertainty. It was definitely helpful. I did that a lot when I just felt like it wasn't going to go good. And then Git Reflog, a reference, it references all your recent commits. So it's kind of like log, but a little nicer. It's used in conjunction with git reset -- hard, and then you use the commit hash that is in the reflog to revert to a previous point. So that one got me out of a big mess. I lost a lot. I saved it elsewhere just in case, but it did bring me back to a point where I could kind of start over. And let me show you real quick what the reflog looks like. Okay, so this is, I did git reflog, and these are all the commit numbers or hashes that you can use and you can commit back to. So just pick one that you know was a good place for your code, and jump back into that if your rebase went badly. Okay, and my last slide, git push -- force. These are the commits you're looking for. So basically that's it. It just makes it very easy to find and to follow your commit history. And I guess that is it. Does anyone have any questions?
So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on it? Are you going to continue doing rebase all the time versus merge because it's a little bit cleaner, or is it too complicated and not worth the upside?
It's not really complicated once you, I guess, find the proper technique. Like I said, there are so many different blogs and just ways to do it, and a lot of them did not turn out good for me. So I'm not sure if it wasn't right or if I messed it up somehow. I don't know that I'll do it all the time, just because I do like to see some of the, I don't want it all lumped into 1 or 2 commits. You know, I do want to see that chronological progression. So
cool. Good stuff.
I have a question.
Sure.
So you guys are using this, like you're doing this in the chess app that you're working on with everybody, right? So there's like multiple branches happening, like floating around. Can we see your Git network graph? I just want to see kind of like how the other branches then relate to the branch that you're rebasing.
Okay.
And I always lose it. It's in graphs and then network.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking at it the other day, and
I always lose it, but I think it's cool.
So I think I did rebase. I think I did rebase. Yeah, rebase maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
So where am I? So this is me, the green one.
So I don't think you're sharing your.
Oh, am I not sharing it? Okay, hang on. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I am the green one there.
Okay.
That was me. Yeah, I don't.
Where's the point that you did the rebase at? The most recent commit?
Yeah, it's the most recent one, and I think I did it. Where did I do it? I did it one other time. It must have been one other time back here.
Okay. Cool.
So I don't know. This kind of confuses me a little bit.
Yeah, it's.
So.
Cool. Okay.
Any other questions? Does anyone know with that whole Git Rebase Skip? Why did I have to do that? Is Ben on here, or is Ben not here?
I think why you needed to do that is I think you might have just not added the file itself when you were doing the rebase. So like as you had the conflict, I think you might have just had like a typo or something when you did git add the file. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's probably the most likely sort of culprit for that, I think. I could be wrong though.
Okay. All right.
I have a question.
Oh, you're super quiet.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So in Rebase, it basically overwrites your commit history. I'm not sure, like, how does that work? So, like, it puts all your commits, recent commits in front of everybody else. Is that how it works? Because I spent, like, a lot of time yesterday.
Okay. The way I understand it is it takes your base commit and it kind of takes all of your other commits and just kind of merges them into where they fit nicely. And so it makes it that, I guess it changes your whole base, that it's not exactly the same as what you started with. So it's not the original base. So like I said, rebasing means changing your original and making things fit in nicely. That's how I understand it.
Okay, that sounds. Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Okay, I have a question as well.
Okay.
It's the first time that I hear about the Git Rebase functionality. Is it something that is commonly used among developers, or?
Yes and no. Some people hate it and some people love it. So you may work for one company that's all they want you to do is do rebasing, and then another company, they don't want you to use it at all because it is destructive and it changes your commit history, and they like to see that progression. So I guess it's kind of 50-50 there.
And the other thing that I might point out is a lot of open source mandates it because they really care about the quality of the commit history. That's something that matters to them. So they'll be like, hey, you need to make sure your commit history, it has extra stuff in it. I don't want that. I want the one commit that you're putting on top, nothing else. And that's kind of like if you ever contribute to an open source project that really cares about that, they're going to really they're not even going to accept your code if you don't use Rebase.
And so do you still see all of those old commits, or is it only the last one, like in your own history? So
you'll see, it doesn't, I don't know how to word this. Ken, you can help me out if you want to. Yeah. So you can see, if you go into your logs, you can see the commits, like that ref log that I showed you. That has all the commits in there. So I can revert back to a certain point. And there are other ways of doing it. I didn't research all that, but I did read about, it never deletes that commit. It's always there. It just kind of reroutes your commit history so that's kind of just on the side. Is that accurate?
Yeah, so the way that I like to think about it, which there's multiple ways you can think about it. So it's depending on how you sort of internalize visualize commits. But basically, what works for me is you think about the step-by-step function of merge is so you write a whole bunch of code and somebody else writes a bunch of code and it gets added to the commit history, and the merge is a single commit that says, okay, at this point in time, you add an extra commit that says, I update all of this stuff. So you add an extra commit that's sort of giving Git the permission to update all your code. So that's a commit that happens. Rebasing is a little bit more work because you're saying, basically what you're doing is you're moving the point in time that you update. So it sort of will say, oh, it has a commit over here that I don't know about. Let's apply that one before I add all my stuff. So it'll suck in that one commit. And then if there's conflicts, you have to deal with them. And then it'll do the same thing again all the way up until the end. So then there's never this sort of this merge commit that sort of is just saying oh, just update yourself, because that merge commit doesn't actually have a whole lot of value in the sort of commit history, because it's do you really need that? You could have just applied it one at a time. So each of the commits ends up getting applied, but you end up having to sort of go back in history. And if there's a conflict, you have to be oh, well, instead of this actually, even though I wrote this before in the past, I should have wrote it like that if I knew what it would have ended up like. So you sort of actually are changing the history. I think the commit SHA hashes and stuff will all change as well too. But basically it's just a different way to do it. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, awesome talk. I think Git rebasing is something that's hard. I'm not very good at it, so I have massive props for you for getting good at it, because I understand what it does, but whenever an open source contributor is you got to rebase it, it's oh no, the dragons are here. So awesome talk on a super advanced topic. I think it was awesome, and it was everybody learned a ton about this advanced Git stuff. So
yeah, mostly me. Thanks.